Hello, Dawgpound South campers. This is the Cleveland Browns Dawgpound South podcast, part of the Fanatical Elves Network, part of the Fans First Sports Network. I'm your host, Steve Gill. I just got done listening to Andrew Berry's end of the season press conference, and you're going to hear a lot about the fact that Deshaun Watson has had a setback in his rehab. Now your cynical merchants of doom are going to go, something fishy is going on. I wonder what's really going on. They won't be honest with us. Well, they had just found out about it. They are having end of season physicals for all the players. Joe Batonio said he had his physical. I didn't see any of the media asking him how it went. So let's just say if there is something fishy going on, you should be supporting it. I keep telling you, he's not going to see the field in 2025. I am more inclined to think that he's never going to play for the Browns again. I still haven't seen the structure of the contract details of his restructure. I did find out today, and I reposted it, that he is insured for injury insurance of the total of the $44.5 million that is owed to him. That's very interesting. So could they have come to an agreement with Deshaun that, hey, dude, you just don't have it anymore. We will make it appear that you're doing all you can to get back, and we will take care of one more year of your contract. You don't know. But like I said, now I'm thinking he's not even going to start the season on the PUP list, the physically unable to perform. He may start the season on IR and have season-ending distinction right from the start. Also, Andrew Berry said that the setback will have no significant impact on the 2025 quarterback room, and also said it would be the quarterback room is going to be different. So that tells you Jameis Winston isn't coming back. It tells you they might keep DTR just for a camp arm, but no, you're going to have three new quarterbacks in the quarterback room. You're going to have a veteran, a bridge, a young veteran, no clue yet, and probably somebody they draft. So I've been saying that for a while, and I'm sticking to it. Talked about Myles Garrett. Basically, he said he's going from Cleveland to Canton. They will keep Myles Garrett. He's not going to be traded unless he comes to him and says, trade me, but he's going to be on the 2025 team. Not so definite with Nick Chubb, but I fully expect them to offer him a contract just because he is so valuable to this team, and he's really not valuable to any other NFL team. He is most valuable to the Cleveland Browns. So he said they'd get around to that in a couple of weeks. Another interesting thing that the media won't talk about is during the season, the front office is in direct communications with players. So they do talk to, it's not, don't let the Cleveland media convince me that Andrew Berry doesn't know what the hell's going on in that locker room. Well, apparently he does, because they talk to players during the season. Of course, I listened to a little bit of the media reaction to it, Andrew Berry, and there's still there's maybe Andrew Berry's too smart for this job. What kind of crack is that? Let's take a quick break. Again, he reiterated that, like he does every year, even if not asked, he always says that they look at the upcoming built team building as if the team is an expansion team. I like that. That tells me they're looking at every position. I've said this before in articles. I like that that's the way they do it, because that tells me they are not set at any position. And when you're 3-14, you got to look at everything. Also said draft process, year and a half process. So they started the 2025 draft process in 2024. So for you people that think that Andrew Berry just throws darts at a dartboard when draft day comes along, no. Now, could they get overcomplicated by starting that soon? I don't think so. He did take a little bit of accountability for the whole Watson thing. He also talked about the Ken Dorsey. He said that was Kevin Stefanski's call on hiring and firing coaches. That's usually how it's done in the NFL. A coach picks his own assistant coaches. You know, he wasn't throwing Andrew Berry wasn't throwing Kevin Stefanski under the bus. And then he mentioned that how did it go wrong with Watson? Availability was the first thing he mentioned, and copeability for the whole team. Now, that I could see too. I look back on that Raiders game that they lost out in Vegas, and Deshaun didn't play bad. He played well. His teammates let him down with stupid penalties. I mean, and that's another thing the media will bring up. They will bring up second straight year that they led the league in pre-snap penalties. Now, pre-snap penalties generally occur on the offensive side of the ball. So let's see now. They started the season with their best 3 tackles hurt, offensive tackles. You had Conklin, Wills, and DeJuan Jones all hurt at the beginning of the season. So you basically were on tackle 4, James Hudson, who should never be on this team again, and tackle number 5. And then you get down to Jermaine Ifedi. He's tackle number 6. Well, of course you're going to have pre-snap penalties. And you got the conversations that Jack Conklin and Joel Bitonio said to the media that they never really felt comfortable in this offense. And offensive linemen don't like quarterbacks who run around a lot. They don't know where the hell he is. So I can see them possibly, Kevin Stefanski can work in any kind of system. He just didn't have a quarterback that was reliable enough in the Ken Dorsey system in Deshaun Watson. I mean, the guy is finished. I looked forward to this trade. I knew there would be pitfalls because of his off the field behavior. But frankly, I'm glad it's over. I'm going to trust Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski to get it right. We can talk about candidates for OC right off the top of my head. Clint Kubiak of the Saints. Remember that? Go back and watch that game and see what the Saints did to the Browns. They ran all over them. So, yes, you bring in a Clint Kubiak and you're going to run the ball. But they also had a Tyson Hill. So if you're looking at the top of the draft, now that the Browns have secured the number 2 pick, you don't know what Tennessee is going to do. I'm hearing on the street that the owner doesn't even know if she's going to retain Brian Callahan. He may be one and done. We haven't heard anything. I mean, you've heard the Giants express their that they weren't going to fire anybody. Same with the Colts. So haven't heard anything from the Titans yet. So you would think they'd go quarterback. Word around town is right now that they like Cam Ward better than Sanders. I don't like either one of them, to be perfectly honest with you. Yes, they can be good down the line, but the Browns need a quarterback this year, a good quarterback this year. And they also need a better offensive line this year. So you've got to find a solution. They may have their solution at left tackle, Dawgpound Jones, but can he stay healthy? So that tells me they've got to have a backup plan for both left tackle and right tackle, because Conklin and Dawgpound Jones keep getting hurt. I went back and looked at some stuff. Got to get a new center. I'm sorry, Ethan Posick. Thank you for your service. Guard, since week 7, somebody told me this. Since week 7, Joel Bitonio has been one of the best pass blocking guards in the NFL. So, which I find, well, minus the snow game, which I find interesting. Now he's got to decide if he is going to retire or not. Sometime in March, he's got a bonus coming up. So we should know way before that, before he makes his mind up. He should do it way before that. So just I'm looking at free agents right off the top of my head. There's the center down in Atlanta, Drew Dahlman. I'm going to go look at some film of him, but he's probably the top center that will be available in free agency as of now. They need to fix their safety room. I'm sorry, Ronnie Harmon is not Ronnie Harmon, Ronnie Harrison. Today's the anniversary of Ronnie Harmon's drop in the game, Cleveland versus Buffalo. Everybody knows what happens next. Jim Kelly threw a pass right into Clay Matthews' arm. But Harrison, I'm not fully convinced on him. I don't see Thornhill coming back. McLeod's is retired. So they got to get younger at safety. But yeah, you're going to hear a lot OCs. You're going to hear a couple of names from former Browns quarterback, like who hasn't been a former Browns quarterback. I may have been a former Browns quarterback. I'm not sure. Thaddeus Lutis, quarterback coach of Tampa. Josh McNown, quarterback coach of the Vikings. Offensive line coach. It really, like I said on the pregame show on Saturday, these are the two guys I said were highly likely to be fired, and they were. So remember Hank Farley? For the older fans who remember Hank Farley, he was supposed to be our savior at center when we lost just about every center we had preseason. He is the offensive line coach for the Lions. Also, you've got Tommy Rees he's the passing game coordinator for the Browns, but then there's reports that he may go with Mike Vrabel, as will Bubba Ventrone. We don't know that yet. Coach Stefanski kind of said, as of now, those were the only changes. If somebody better comes along, I'm sure they'll make changes. So don't worry, Browns fans. We're not the dysfunctional franchise that everybody thinks they are. Let's look at the Jets. They're a dysfunctional franchise. They have asked the Rams to fill their general manager position. They have asked permission to talk to, are you ready for this? Ray Farmer. Ray texting to the field, Farmer. Ray the Farmer. That's dysfunction, folks, right there. So I am going to put my faith that they will get this right. The news about Deshaun Watson, I'm fully convinced that they're working a way to get rid of him and get money back. If that's true, that his contract is insured for $44.5 million, then man, they will try and just say sorry. He'll never recover, and they'll get their money back. How's that sound? Oh, by the way, they're not in salary cap hell. They're about 15 to 17 million over next year's anticipated cap of 272.5 million. but they have 41.7 million they can roll into next year. And also all the player bonuses and incentives that weren't reached, that gets added back to the cap. So they're going to be fine on the cap. Believe me, they'll be 30, 35 million over the cap before you know it. So everybody, this has been the Cleveland Browns Dawgpound South podcast, part of the Fanatical Elves Network, part of the Fans for Sports Network. I appreciate you listening, watching, subscribing, and following. So hang in there, Browns fans. The season is about to get a little crazy, but I think it's going to be good crazy. All right, everybody have a great day, and go Browns.